Hello and welcome to Talk Shit Radio. Your host, Lewis Kennedy. I'd like to welcome everybody and let you know that we're going to talk some shit. Not much going on today. I'd just like to start out, say hello to everybody, and thank everyone for listening, taking the time out to listen. I know everybody's probably getting ready to go to work tomorrow, but again, I want to thank you. So, sorry. So today I decided to take my helicopter out and go flying. It was a decent day, not much wind. So I went over to Arapica, for those of you who know Spring Hill, where we're located here. And I went over to Sunwest Mines. Now, apparently they set up this park, which I did not know was there. So I pulled in and started flying the chopper, and I had an older gentleman come up, him and his wife, he was handicapped, start watching me and asking me questions and asking what I do. And so, I started talking about the radio show and talk shit. And it was very interesting because some of his views were very similar to mine. And this is a man who, well, I definitely don't know what war he fought in. I did not ask him. It was none of my business. But I'll tell you one thing. It was definitely not the Vietnam War. It was definitely a war before that. So I started talking to him and started asking him, questions politically and what he thinks about, the way the government runs the country and things that are going on in our country right now, to try and get an idea of someone from that era where, well, let's just say all the training and the programming began, propaganda videos and such. At that point, he proceeded to tell me a lot of his views that were very interesting, how our country, it does not live by the Constitution anymore. Not that I'm saying the Constitution, you can live by it anymore. Certainly it's, a little outdated. But as far as some of the amendments, like our Fourth Amendment, which allows me to do what I'm doing here tonight and talk shit to you, he was explaining to me on some of the things that he's seen. He was very into watching YouTube videos. So I'm sure he's aware of a lot of the things that go on in the world. So, the conversation went on, and I won't get into details, but one, I asked him what his stance was on medical cannabis, just out of curiosity. This is an older gentleman, like I said, he's fought for his country. I wanted to hear his opinion. So, being handicapped, his opinion was completely and utterly with it. He definitely sees the benefits, both financial and medical. We proceeded to talk about the one incident that I keep mentioning, the girl who had the seizures, and I told him about that, and he was just amazed. And he agreed with my point of view on how medically children should be given medical marijuana. Now, I'm not saying, and neither did this gentleman, that they should be sitting there smoking joints with their parents. Obviously not. That's something I don't advocate. But medically, if we're so far advanced now, and we have all of these things that we're creating with and in the medical marijuana field, then yes, he agrees. Then if there's a pill form or a liquid form or eating, ingesting it, so on and so forth. So I was just amazed, and I proceeded to tell the gentleman, I would love to get him on the show. So if you do hear this, sir, and you are out there, please get a hold of me. Drop me a line on our Facebook page, which is www.facebook.com/TalkShitTV Show. Drop me a line. I'd love to have you on. Now, standing there, again, I went back to flying. Him and his wife had to go. And I went back to flying. Excuse me. And a young woman and her neighbor come up, and she proceeded to tell me about herself and how she was very interested in what I do here and some of her opinions. I believe a lot of you would be very interested in. I know they're a lot like my own opinions as far as law enforcement, police brutality, the government. I mean, there's just so many people. And the more and more that I'm out here and the more I talk to people, the more and more I realize that there are a lot of people out there that are tired of getting pushed around. I'm sorry, these little pauses that you're hearing me talking, I apologize. I know it's a bad habit, but I'm having a cigarette. I just didn't realize how many people out there have the same opinions and the same views about the things that are going on in our country. Now, the beautiful thing about YouTube and the internet and these places where all of you listeners and viewers, because we also will have Talk Shit TV show, this is Talk Shit Radio, you'll be able to, post videos of things that you think we should talk shit about. Anything. The sky's the limit, We try to bring you the content that you want to hear, and that right there is part of it. We'd also like to ask that you like our Facebook page, which again is www.facebook.com/Talk Shit TV Show. And also we have a link up there for you to buy a t-shirt. Now what that does is that helps us get a bigger bandwidth, and in non-technical terms, it helps us reach a broader audience. And also we're trying to broadcast on the FM airways, and eventually we'll try to get signed up on iHeartRadio. So we'll see how it goes, and that all depends on you listeners. So anyway, back to where we were. These other two women, the other woman that was with the young lady that I met today, it was a Hurricane Katrina survivor. Now, Hurricane Katrina, to me, I spent probably 18 months of my life chasing the damage path of Hurricane Katrina. Was deep in the middle of some really nasty stuff. Had a few friends of mine that were there with me. They know what I'm talking about. If you're out there, you guys know. It was just, I seen some really, really horrific things. People lost everything. Now this woman, and that was coming from me as a rescue worker. This woman was there. She lived it. She lost everything. So we're going to try and get her on as well. And if you're listening, please contact me. You have my phone number. I would love for you to come in and talk about the lack of support that you people were given. So we got about 15, 16 minutes left of the show. I apologize for the shortness, but there again, that's where your support, listener support, comes in by buying the T-shirts. That'll, like I said, give us a chance to have a longer show and hopefully a larger audience. But one thing I would like to say is that I am definitely in a position where I want to make a change. I want to make a difference. And the only way that I can do that is if my listeners decide that they've had enough as well. And when I say we've had enough, I don't mean we're going to take to the streets and start riots. No, that's not what I mean at all. Excuse me. What I mean is we're going to stop being bullied around by government agencies, by local agencies, and letting these people control our lives and walk into our homes and do things that they want to do with no want, no warrant, and no right. We need to stand up against a lot of the laws that are being passed without our knowledge, and then we find out about it if we're smart enough to inquire about them afterwards. There's so many laws that you don't even know about that don't even get mentioned. There's so many invasions of privacy going on. It's a crazy thing. It's a crazy world we live in. And I'd love to sit here and talk about it all night, but I got to do the local weather. And now the weather here at Kennedy Studios is a little bit of a balmy 59 degrees. And I say balmy because the humidity is up at about 81%. Barometric pressure is at 29.83 and dropping. And it looks like we're going to get a little rain, according to what I see. So that's the weather for the studio here. And when I say the studio, we're located in Spring Hill. So most of you get the same weather I get. And let's move on to a little bit of some of the local news. Now, I got a lot of good things happening. Let's start out with real news real fast. Brought to you by Tom Lemons. The story, Bank of America cancels debit cards. Thank you for telling me, Tom says. Obviously, Tom banks at Bank of America. Tom, if you get to hear this, I feel for you. That's why I don't bank there. Have you ever gone shopping at the grocery store, at the grocery or the department store, and had the clerk ring up all your items only to have your card declined? Oh, my God, that is the worst thing that could ever happen. Recently, I been in the same situation. I won't mention the bank's name, but yeah, it was. We went traveling across the county line road. Was somewhere down in Pasco. We stopped here to get this. We stopped here to get that, and then I went to the ATM and I went to make a withdrawal, and my card was frozen. So here I am sitting in not so nice of a part of US 19 in Newport Richey. Talking on the phone outside the ATM machine. Yeah, needless to say, I was a little nervous. I'd like to give a shout out to Tom Lemons with Real News Real Fast. It's where we get all of our local stories from. We got his show he produces called Our Show for January 23rd. His edition was on human trafficking. I watched it. Very interesting piece. I recommend everybody to check it out. Again, www.realnewsrealfast. And yeah, it's a good show. We got a show coming up. Tom's got a show coming up that I think I'm going to make an appearance on. I'm not sure about the medical marijuana debate. So we'll see how that goes. I think we're having problems finding somebody who's against legalization. So if there is anybody out there that's listening and you're against legalization and you'd like to come on camera and debate with us, you're more than welcome to get a hold of us. We'd love to hear from you. You can go to realnewsrealfast.com and click on contact and get a hold of Tom and let him know. And then we got some international news. Where can I start? Top that I see is in travel, brought to us by the General News Agency, which is where we get our credentials from and allows us to broadcast and have legitimate news. Strong earthquake hits Pacific Ocean near Tonga. No tsunami alert. Well, that's a good thing. I don't know about the rest of you, but that earthquake that happened down in between Cuba and Florida, I was wondering what was going to happen there. Let's see. Let's read a little more into this. Strong and shallow earthquake struck off the Pacific island nation of Tonga on early Tuesday afternoon. Seismologists and local officials say, but there were no immediate reports of damages or casualty. All right, well, so nothing happened. They just had some tremors. So it's not even worth reading into. Well, that stinks, because we need some good news. All right, well, moving on. Being that we don't have a very exciting night. I did get a chance to fly my helicopter today. I know I touched on that. And that helicopter, the helicopter is available for hire. If anybody out there, anybody listening, would like to have some aerial videography done, aerial photography done. It's all HD images, all downloadable Windows Media format, raw images, or we can bring them into the studio and edit it up for you. Just go ahead and contact us at www.facebook. Yeah, www.facebook.com/Kennedy Studios. Sorry about that. And we can take care of all your aerial photography needs. So I'd like to, at this point, say thank you for anybody and everyone that's listening. Remember, get on the Facebook page, like us. The more likes we have, the more people we get to have listen. The more listeners we have, the better chance we have of getting on iHeartRadio and really getting this show kicked off. And again, if there's anybody out there that would like to come on the show, sit down, get in front of the microphone, give it a shot, talk shit about anything and everything you want to talk shit about everything and anything that I say that you don't agree with or you do agree with. That's what this show's all about. We definitely invite you to come on in and sit down and take the time, and we appreciate it. And, talk shit. We got about 8.5 minutes left of the show, so what I try to do at this point is come up with a saying for the day. Now, for those of you who know me, know it's a Lou thing, these sayings. And for my wife, that's for you. These sayings are just random thoughts that mean nothing. First broadcast, I really dropped the ball on that one. So we're going to try and come up with a random saying rather quick here. And unfortunately, it looks like I'm drawing a blank again. So we're not doing so good on these random things. So if anybody could drop me a message right now on Facebook at www.facebook.com/TalkShitTV for a random little comment, I will use it, and I'll give you some recognition for it. And I'd like to also give a shout out to a DJ friend of mine. I know you're listening. You just messaged me and said, I hear you. I appreciate the support. And I'll tell you what, we're gonna work this show together and do something nice. It's gonna be pretty fun. We'll get you over here talking shit here soon. All right, to everybody else, I'd like to thank you for listening. I'm gonna cut it short because I'm running out of things to say. So that's that. Till next time, I hope to see everybody on our podcast. I'd like to see if we can't, like I said, get some people in to sorry, I'm laughing at a message I just got. See if we can't get any people to come in and sit down and talk shit. And to the gentleman that I spoke to today, once again, please message me on Facebook if you do hear this. And I would love to invite you in and tell your story and give some thoughts. I also would like to have the two young ladies that I met out at the mine, Sunwest Mine, when I was flying my helicopter, to give me a call and see if we can't get the two of you guys in and sit down and get you to talk some shit. Going to try and bring in another guest. I won't mention his name right now, but he's a pretty predominant businessman here in Hernando County. He's been here a long time. I've known him a long time. He's in the land development business. If you're listening, you know who you are, so you hit me up as well. I got your message today. I'd love to see you come in and talk shit. I know you have some really good issues you'd like to talk about. And we'll go from there. And everybody have a good night. Thank you for listening. Until next time, this is Talk Shit Radio, and I appreciate it. We'll see you again soon. Thanks.